Congo Nation. I'm Sister Johnson and welcome to our math lesson. Today is Tuesday, April 21st, 2020. Today in math, we will be learning how to classify shapes or group them with other shapes based on their features. But before we get into our concept, we want to begin with our application problem. Let's read it together.
Application problem. Today, everyone will create 7 building blocks to use in our lesson. If you and your partner use your building blocks to work together, how many building blocks will you have total?
Alright, Congo, so before you copy down your application problem, you want to make sure that you are properly heading your paper. So on the top of your paper, you want to put your name and the date, April 21st, 2020, along with the subject, which is math. And then our heading for this portion of our math lesson will be application problem.
Scholars, please take this time to copy your application problem into your composition book. You may pause the video and then resume once you're finished.
Okay, Congo Nation, now that you're finished writing down your application problem, let's reread it, and then we're going to use our cube strategy to solve. Application problem. Today, everyone will create 7 building blocks to use in our lesson. If you and your partner use your building blocks to work together, how many blocks will you have total? All right, Congo Nation, let's use our cube strategy. So we know, since we're mighty mathematicians, that our C in our first step is to circle key numbers. So I'm going to scan my application problem for my numbers. And I see 1. What's our first key number, Congo? Very good. It's 7. Do you see any more numbers in this problem? Yes or no? No, I don't see any more either. So we know that now we can move on to step 2 of our cube strategy, which is our U. Underline the question. We can look for the symbol question mark because we know that question marks are always the punctuation at the end of a question. So let's look for our question mark. I find it here. So I know that this is my question. So I'm going to go through that question to the beginning of the sentence. I found my capital letter. I know that that is the beginning of my sentence. So I'm going to begin underlining there. If you and your partner use your building blocks to work together, how many blocks will you have total? Okay, I've underlined my question. I can move on to step 3 of our cube strategy, which is our B, box math action words. Now, as I was reading that question out loud, I heard a very important math action word that gives us a lot of information. What's that math action word, Congo? Total, very good. We have this word total that's also in our question. Very good. Let's look through. Do we see any more math action words? I don't see any more. I do, however, see some key words that are going to help me to solve this. All right, let's evaluate. Let's move on to the E of our cube strategy and ask ourselves, what steps do we need to take? All right, so this math action word total definitely tells me what operation I'm going to be doing. What does total tell us? Is it addition or subtraction? Very good. It tells us that we're going to add. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a plus sign right here, right? I'm going to make note that this word total tells me that I'm going to do addition. Very good. Now, I also know that when we find the total, when we solve for a total, that means we're going to be adding more than one part. But I have a question. Do we have more than one part in our key numbers? Because we always look to our key numbers, right, to get our parts or our whole number. Do you see more than one part? Yes or no? No, very good. I only see one, and that part is 7, right? I'm going to just put a P here so I know that that's one of my parts. It's not my whole number. I'm solving for my whole number, right? I'm solving for my total. All right, so that means, okay, we know that we're solving for our total, but we only have one part. So that means that there must be more information in our word problem that tells us what our other part should be. So now I'm going to reread it, and I'm going to look for maybe those keywords that tell me what my other part should be and how many are in that part. Gave up? Gave up. All right, so today everyone will create 7 building blocks to use in our lesson. If you and your partner use your building blocks to work together, how many blocks will you have total? Now I ask myself, who do these parts belong to? I think that the parts belong to you and your partner, right? I'm not going to box this word. I'm going to make a cloud around it, but I want to show that this is also a key word. You is a key word, and your partner is key. Because what we're solving for is the total between you two, right? You're going to work together. You're going to combine or add your building blocks and your partner's building blocks to find how many you have all together. So now that I've thought about that, I know what steps I have to take. Okay, I have to draw my building blocks, which is one part. I have to draw my partner's building blocks, which is my other part, and I will be able to solve for my total. All right, Congo Nation, so I'm going to begin to solve, and let's solve together, all right? So our first step, when we do addition, we want to draw a model. All right, so I know my one part. How many do I have? How many building blocks do I have? Do you have? 7, very good. So I'm going to start drawing my building blocks using circles, okay? Count with me, please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Very good. That took care of my blocks. But I'm working with my partner. We're working together. I have to draw my partner's building blocks as well. So let's do your partners. Scoot over just a little bit so we can show that there are 2 groups or 2 parts that we're adding together. Let's count 7 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Very good. Our picture is complete. Our model, it shows that we have 7 here, we have 7 there. It shows that we're probably going to add them together. But let's make a number sentence as well. Okay? So how many are in this part? 7. Very good. Write down your number 7. How many are in our second part? 7. Very good. Write down your number 7. Okay? So there are 7 and 7. I am going to step away for just a second to erase some of this so that we can continue solving for our problem. Okay, Congo. So I've just adjusted our whiteboard so that we have more room to solve, okay? So we have our group of 7 here, our group of 7 there. Let's make our number sentence. We are going to add 7. Our operation is addition. So what type of symbol do we write? A plus sign. Very good. And then we add our second part, which is 7. And we can use our picture to solve. We can count in this group and then count on here, right? And find the total that we have all together. Or we can use our count on strategy, and I would like to do that. So please count on with me. We know that we put 7 in our head, and then we're going to count up 7 times to get our total. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So what is our total, Congo? 14. Very good. Very good. We have our model. We have our number sentence. Now let's answer our question. Remember, our question was, How many building blocks will you have total? All right, so what is the answer to our question? So we can put you and your partner will have 14 blocks total. You and your partner will have 14 blocks total. Very good, Congo Nation. All right, Congo, now that we finished our application problem, you guys are going to take a few minutes to complete a fluency assignment, all right? You're going to do 10 addition problems. You are going to complete 10 addition and subtraction problems. Please write them inside of your composition book. You want to, again, turn to just the next sheet of paper, and you're going to title it with your name, the date, the subject is still math, but now your heading is fluency, okay? So I'm going to show you the fluency assignment. You're going to complete those problems in your composition book, and then we'll come back together to learn our concept.
Here are your fluency problems. Please pause this video to complete them.
Welcome back, Congo. Thank you for completing your fluency assignment. Now let's get into today's lesson vocabulary. All right, we have several terms that we need to know. It's going to make it easier for us to complete our concept development today. The first vocabulary term is open shape. An open shape is a shape that has an opening. That means that the lines in the shape do not connect, okay? A shape that has an opening. All of the lines in the shape do not connect, and I'm going to show you an example. This arrow is an example of an open shape. Yes, this line connects here with this line, and yes, this line connects here with this line. However, we don't see that the end of this line connects down here, and we don't see that the end of this line connects down here. That is what makes this an example of open shape. Okay, open shape. Our next vocabulary word is closed shape. A closed shape is a shape that has no opening. The lines of the shape are connected. Okay, a shape that has no opening. The lines of the shape are connected. Let's look at an example. What is the name of this shape, Congo? Yes, this is a triangle. And if you look at the lines of the triangle, they all connect to each other. There's no opening. If you were inside of this triangle, you wouldn't have a way out, right? Because it is a closed shape. Okay, good. All right, we are going to refer to the sides of shapes today. The sides of the shape are the lines in a shape. So if we look here at this square, we have a line here, a line here, a line here, and a line here. The sides are the lines in a shape. We're also going to refer to the corners of shapes. And a corner is where two sides meet. So we have a side of the triangle here, but here where the two sides meet, right there at that point is a corner. There's a corner here, and there's a corner there. Attribute. This is one of our important math vocabulary terms. An attribute is a feature of an object, and we know that feature means the appearance, what it looks like, right? The details about that object that allows us to group it with other similar objects, okay? An attribute is a feature of an object that allows us to group it with other similar objects. Attributes are normally used to describe size, color, and shape. Gave up? Gave up. All right, so these are examples of some of the shapes that we'll see today, right? And we want to go over the description of that shape before we begin. So the first one is a triangle. A triangle is a closed shape with 3 straight sides. Okay, here's an example of a triangle. It's a closed shape with 3 straight sides. These sides don't wiggle off or curve, right? They have straight sides. The next shape is a square. A square is a closed shape with 4 straight sides of the same length, and that's important, and 4 square corners. And later on in the lesson, we'll learn exactly what a square corner is. But before we begin, know that a square has 4 straight sides of the same length. And these orange markings here indicate that all of these sides are the same length, right? If we measure with our ruler, if this side said 3 centimeters, then this side would say 3 centimeters. This side would say 3 centimeters, and this side would say 3 centimeters. This smaller square here shows us that that is a square corner, right? We see another square here in the corner, okay? So a square has 4 straight sides that are equal in length and 4 square corners. The next shape is a rectangle. A rectangle is also a closed shape with 4 straight sides and 4 square corners. But it doesn't say that those 4 sides have to be the same length. And that's the difference between a square and a rectangle. We don't see our orange markings showing that all the sides are the same length, and we can even just see with our eyes that these 2 sides are longer than these 2 sides. But we still have 4 square corners. Okay. Our next shape is a rhombus. Rhombus. A rhombus is a closed shape with 4 straight sides of the same length. Okay, it sounds very similar to a square. But when we look at our example, it doesn't have those 4 square corners. We couldn't make a square corner here, or a square corner here, or a square corner here. It would look a little silly, okay? But we see those orange markings that show us that this side is the same length as this side, and this side. All sides are the same length. And our last shape is called a hexagon. A hexagon. A hexagon is a closed shape with 6 straight sides. Let's take a look at our hexagon. And I've numbered the sides to show that there are 6 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, scholars, that is all the vocabulary that we need to know. Let's start doing our concept development. To complete our concept development, the first thing we have to do is to make those 7 building blocks that we talked about in our application problem. So what you're going to do is you're going to get your composition book and turn to a fresh page. You're also going to need some scissors. Okay, so go ahead and gather your materials. If you need help with cutting, please get one of your family members to help you. All right, and if you don't have scissors, that's okay. You're just going to tear where we cut and just make sure that it's as neat as possible, okay? But I'm going to walk through each step with you. So if you need to pause this video, please go gather your materials. All right, scholars, go ahead, grab your composition book. You're going to turn to a new page, okay? And then this red line that's here on your composition page, we're going to begin cutting there. We're going to cut out our sheet using that line, okay? So use that red line as your guide. I'm going to take my time cutting along this red line. to tear, I want you to neatly, gently tear out your paper and then fold along this red line to make it easier when you tear along your red line. Okay? So I cut along my red line, or I tore along my red line, and I have this sheet of paper here. Now we're going to flip it over. Okay? And you don't have to flip it over, but we're going to use each of the blue lines to be our guide for our individual building blocks. Okay? So I'm going to start by cutting off this big chunk of white here. Cut that off. We don't need that. Alright, now I'm going to cut out 4 of these white rectangles using the blue lines as my guide. Alright, so let's do the first one. And if you're tearing, you can fold it. Let me pause there. If you're tearing out that blue line, then you just want to fold along the blue line. And it makes it a little easier when you go to tear that piece out. You want to tear nice and slowly so that it's neat. Okay? Alright, I'm going to go back to cutting out my first building block. Alright, once you're done cutting along that blue line, you have your first building block. You set that down on your desk or on your table, or wherever you're working. Let's cut out our second building block. I go to the next blue line and use that as my guide. Very good. Place that down. I'm going to do my third. And at any time, if I'm going too fast, pause me and you can go ahead and catch up. You're working at your own pace. Okay? We have our third building block. I'm going to place that down. And we're going to cut out one more. We're going to turn some of these building blocks into smaller building blocks. So we only have to cut out 4 of our white rectangles. Okay? Alright, Congo Nation. So once you do that, you have your 4 pieces that we need. Okay, I'm going to close my composition book for now. Set that there. Now we're going to work with 2 of our long building blocks. So I'm going to set those down. But we're going to make 3 half building blocks, okay, by using these 2. All right, so I'm going to take one building block and I'm going to fold it in half. Fold it in half like this, okay? And I'm going to cut at that crease. So I'm making 2 half-size building blocks by cutting this in half. All right, have my 2 half pieces. I'm going to set those down with my 2 long ones that are already ready. Now get your last long one that you haven't used yet. And you're also going to cut that one in half. Okay, so I'm going to fold it first in half. I'm going to cut along the crease. Very good. So we're going to use 3 building blocks that are half, okay? But I also want to make 2 that are a quarter. All right, so that means I take this half here and I'm going to fold that in half. Okay, and I'm going to make an even smaller building block, 2 even smaller building blocks. So once I fold that in half, I'm going to cut along the crease. And I have my 7 building blocks, okay? I have my 2 long ones, 1, 2. My 3 half-size building blocks, which are 3, 4, and 5. And then I have my 2 quarter building blocks, which are 6 and 7. Yay, Bub? All right, perfect. We're going to use these throughout our lesson to build shapes, okay? So you're going to keep those safe. All right, Congo, what I want you to do now is turn to a new sheet of your composition book. Just go ahead and turn your page. Head your paper again with your name, the date, the subject, which is math, and then your new heading is concept development. Go ahead and write that down, please. All right, once you're done writing that down, let's begin to build shapes. Now, since I'm modeling to you, and I want you to be able to see my shapes up here on the board, I've created some purple pieces, okay? So I'm going to be using these purple pieces, but just like your building blocks, I have my 2 long pieces. I have my 3 half size building blocks, and then I have my 2 quarter size building blocks, okay? All right, Congo, so inside of your composition book or anywhere on your desk, but you will need to write inside of your composition book a little later, okay? So you can set your composition book aside and you can work right on top of your table. I'm gonna work up here on this whiteboard. All right, the first thing that I want us to do is I want us to make a shape that is gonna require us to use our 3 half building blocks, okay? So get your 3 half building blocks, and I want you to build this shape that I build, okay? All right, so I'm gonna put one piece here like that. And we're making closed shapes, Congo. So we wanna make sure that all of our sides are connected, okay? We don't wanna leave an open shape like this. We wanna make sure that each of our sides are connected. So I'm gonna add my second side here. And then I'm going to add my third side here. Making sure that there's no openings in my closed shape. What shape did we create, Congo? Very good. We made a triangle. Very good. All right, now we're going to draw our triangle, okay? So I want you to try to draw a triangle inside of your composition book. And what we notice about this shape is that it has 3 sides, right? 1, 2, 3. But it also has corners. How many corners does it have, Congo? Show me with your math fingers. Okay, it has 1, 2, 3 corners. Remember, corners are where the 2 sides meet. Okay, and I am going to make note of that on the board. I'm going to make note of that on the board. And I want you to do this too. So I want you to build this triangle now on top of your concept development paper. So go ahead and rebuild it inside of your composition book and grab your pencil, okay? Because we're going to make circles at each corner, and then we're going to redraw this picture in our books. All right, so I'm going to start here in my corner. And you can pause me if you haven't, built your triangle inside of your composition book. That's okay. Go ahead and pause me, and when you're ready, you can push play again. All right, so I'm going to go to the first corner where these 2 sides meet, and I'm going to draw a circle. Just a small circle that indicates bam, there's a corner there. Let me get a darker marker. Make sure that you guys can see. Let's do purple. So I have a corner there. I go to where the other 2 sides meet, and there's a corner there. And then I go to where these 2 sides meet and make a circle that shows me that there is a corner there. There you go. All right, Congo, now I'm going to start at one corner and I'm going to draw a line to the next corner. If you have a ruler, please feel free to use a ruler. And I'm just going to try to be nice and neat, right? And draw a straight line from one corner to the other corner. Go ahead and do it with Sister Johnson. So start at your top corner. Let's draw a straight line down to our other corner. Just like that. There you go. All right, let's draw another line from this corner to the next corner. Just like that. Very good. Okay, now let's draw a line from this corner back up to the other corner. If you went me so far, put stuff on the back. Very good. All right, let's move our building block pieces and see what we have created. So I remove my building block pieces. It shows me that by drawing a line from corner to corner, I made my sides and I've drawn my triangle. Very good. All right, Congo Nation, good job. Go ahead and pat yourself on the back if you drew your triangle. Now let's make another three-sided shape with three corners. Okay, this time I want to grab my long building block and my other long building block. Okay, and then I want to grab my quarter, one of my smaller building blocks. Okay, let's grab those three. If you have your three building blocks, say, I'm ready. If you don't have your three building blocks yet because you're still working on your triangle, then go ahead and pause, Sister Johnson. All right, let's get started with building another three-sided, three-cornered shape. Okay, so I'm going to start by putting my long building block there. And then I want to grab my small building block here. And I want to put that down at the bottom, making sure that each line connects, okay? So I'm creating a corner here, right? I want to make sure that it's a closed shape, just like that. And we're going to close this shape up with our last building block that we're using for this shape. So I start here, make a corner there, and connect them just like that. And this piece is hanging down a little bit, but that's okay. Congo, I have a question. Did we create another triangle? Yes, we did. It doesn't look like our normal triangle, right? Usually when we see the triangle, it looks like this with the three equal sides, but it doesn't have to have sides that are the same length, okay? It just has to be a shape that has three sides. So let's count the sides in this triangle here. 1, 2, 3. One side, our second side, and our third side. It's still a triangle because it has three sides. Now let's check to see if it also has three corners. Grab your pencil. Let's do our corners just like we did before. We're going to mark it with a circle, okay? All right, so let's start here. We have one side that meets another side, so we draw our circle. That means there is a corner right here. Okay, started that corner, go up another side. Does this side of the triangle meet this side of the triangle? Yes or no? Yes, it does. That means that here is another corner. And we're going to indicate that with our circle. Very good. Does this side meet with this side? Are they connected? Yes, they are. Very good. So that means that there is a corner here. Okay, let's count our corners. 1, 2, 3. Very good. We have 3 sides and 3 corners. Let's draw our second triangle. So I'll start at the top corner. Bring it down, 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 down. So I meet the other corner. Start at this corner and draw a straight line over to my other corner. And then from this corner, I'm going to draw a line straight up to this corner. Okay, let's remove our building blocks and see what we created. Very good, we drew another triangle. All right, Congo, so if we think about our vocabulary word attribute, right? That is the feature, the appearance of these shapes that allow us to group them together because they are similar. What attributes are true about these two shapes? What about if we think about their sides? What is true about their sides? Very good. Both of these triangles have 3 sides, and I'm going to write that down. You can write it down as well. Okay, so both of these shapes have 3 sides. What about their corners? How many corners do they have? Very good. They also have 3 corners. These are the 2 attributes that make them both triangles. Okay? Since they have 3 corners, and since they also have 3 sides, they both are triangles. Even though they look different, right? They still share these 2 things in common. These are their 2 attributes. Yay, Bo? Yay, Bo. All right, Congo, I'm going to erase the board. And we're going to move on to building 2 more shapes that have different attributes. This time, we're going to build shapes that have 4 sides and 4 corners. Yay, Bo? Yay, Bo. All right, Congo, so this time you're going to have some more room to show your Kuumba, okay? This time I want you to build your own 4-sided shape. Now, I am still going to build mine up on the board so that when it comes time for us to count the sides and the corners, we can do that together. Yay, Bo? But I want you to take the next couple of minutes, not even a couple minutes, just one. I want you to take the next 1 minute to build your 4-sided shape. Yay, Bo? All right, go ahead, get started. All right, for my shape, I'm going to use 2 of the small building blocks. And feel free, you can follow along with me or you can make your own design. I'm going to use the smaller building blocks and the long building blocks. All right, put this here as side 1, side 2, side 3, and side 4. All right, Congo, so I've built my shape with 4 sides. Thumbs up if you've done yours. Very good. And I'm so sorry that I can't see yours, but I know that it looks awesome. So now let's count our sides. You count the sides of your shape, and I'm going to count the sides of my shape. And then we'll also count the corners, just like we did with our triangles. Yay, Bo? All right, Congo, so start at your side that's at the bottom, and let's count going around our shape. Let's count our sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you have 4 sides, say ding ding. Very good. Now let's go to where our sides meet, and we're going to indicate that with our symbol, just like our triangle, okay? So let's start at our bottom side and go over to where it meets one of the sides. We're going to indicate that there with a circle. Okay, go to your next corner. Up this side where it meets the next side, draw a circle. Very good. Go from that corner over to the next corner where it meets the next side, draw a circle. Good job. And we have one more. So we want to go down to where this side meets the bottom side and draw a circle. All right, Congo, you can remove your building blocks and draw your lines yourself, or you can use your building blocks as your ruler, or you can use your ruler if you have one. I'm going to keep my building blocks up there while I'm drawing my lines because they're going to guide me as I draw. So I'm going to go from one corner and draw a straight line down to the next corner. Go from that corner and do a straight line over. Just like that. I'm going to go from this corner and make another side. And then go from these 2 corners to make my final side. Very good. So we know just by looking at our building blocks what shape we built. I'm going to remove my building blocks and you tell me what shape I created. What shape did I create? And you may have created the same one. What What shape is this, Conga? Very good. It's a rectangle. And when we went over our vocabulary, the description was dead on, right? It said that we would have 4 sides, but that they did not have to be the same length. I have a question. What shape has 4 sides that are the same length? Okay, if you said square, kiss your brain. If you said rhombus, you may also kiss your brain. Because we learned that both of those shapes have 4 sides that are equal in length. But what shape has 4 sides that is equal in length, but also has square corners? If you said square, very good. Remember, a rhombus doesn't have square corners, but a square does. Now, Congo, you can draw a square. I'm going to use my half building blocks to draw a square, and I'm going to use it kind of like a ruler, okay? So I'm going to put this here first and draw one of my sides, okay? Now I'm going to go to my top side and put this here and draw my side, okay? I'm going to draw my third side using my building block to guide me like it's a ruler. Right down there. And I'll draw my final side at the bottom of my sheet. I have to make sure that each side is connected because this is a closed shape. All right, Congo, what shape did I create? A square, very good. And I can indicate that each side is the same length by drawing those markings that were orange on our vocabulary cards. Okay, so each of these is the same length. I use the same building block to draw each side. All right, now this is how you create a square corner. If I can go to a corner and by drawing 2 sides, make a square, then that shape has a square corner. Yay, Bo? All right, so I have my one corner of my square here. If I can draw 2 sides and complete a square, then that shape has a square corner. Let's go over to this corner. If I draw one side and another side, do I create another square here? Yes or no? Yes, I do. That means that this has a square corner. So on your square, I would like for you to draw the next 2 square corners. Very good, Congo. So we know that a square has, let's count our sides. 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. And now let's count our corners. 1, 2, 3, 4. What attributes do these 2 shapes share? How many sides do they have? 4, very good. 4 sides. How many corners do they have? 1, 2, 3, 4. They have 4 corners. These are the attributes that make these 2 shapes similar. Yay, Bo? Yay, Bo. All right, we have 2 more steps. We want to draw a shape that has more than 4 sides, and then we're going to talk about a shape that doesn't have any sides at all. If you're ready, say, I'm ready. All right, Congo, I'm going to erase our board, and then we're going to keep going with